Before we do anything, I have to do an acknowledgement of country. You know how this works. Let's do it. I acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, for they hold the memories, the traditions, the culture, the hopes and dreams of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and elders, past, present and emerging. For it is their land on which I work, live, love and conduct business, and it is their continuing connection to land, water, sea and community that I will always recognise and uphold. I am committed to and will continue to celebrate, honour and respect Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people's stories, cultures and traditions, as well as their unique cultural and spiritual relationships to country. Sovereignty has never been ceded, it always was and forever will be Aboriginal land. So, this episode pretty much needs no introduction. What I'm talking about tonight is 24 reasons why people choose not to get married. You heard that right. 24 reasons. So let's go. Let's start with the first one. Where did it go? All right, number one reason why people choose not to get married. And surprise, surprise, it might come as a shock to you, but some people are just not interested in getting married. For real. It's, some people are they're single at heart and they are literally, and I mean literally, not interested in marriage. They just probably don't give a crap about it. And that's okay. I don't know how to make it any more simpler, but to say that there are people who are just not interested. And, it's like, it's like people who are not interested in eating meat, eating fish, driving a manual car, or even doing a degree. People are just not interested. And, marriage does not constitute to success, and it is not even an achievement. So, number one, some people have no interest in marriage, and that is nothing to shame somebody about, because we all have our own desires and needs and wants, and sometimes marriage does not fulfill any of it. Number two, desire to be alone. Now, can you imagine, right? Just imagine, I'm setting the scene for you right now. You have the ultimate freedom to do absolutely whatever it is that you want to do. You don't have to report to anybody. You cook what you want, you wear what you want, you go where you want, you do everything that you want, when you want, how you want it, without anybody to report to. That desire to be alone, it's like you don't even need to be an introvert to enjoy being alone. Just think of the autonomy. You don't need other people to rain on your parade. And nor should they need to. But that desire to be alone, I feel like there's this thought in people's minds, older people's minds, that, oh, but you need somebody to complete you and you need to be with somebody. It's like, not everybody needs people. Some people are literally just so happy being on their own. They don't need nobody. And I think practicing the art of detachment is never a bad thing. And I don't think that the desire to be alone should be frowned upon or even come as a shock, because not everybody needs a partner. Just saying. All right, number three. You're already divorced, and for whatever reason, I'm not here to judge, I'm never here to judge, you don't want to remarry. And you're probably thinking, why go through the crap again? If you've already gone through a divorce, you've already gone through the marriage, the whole wedding, everything, and you're probably like, I don't want to go through this again. And that is perfectly okay. That is a legitimate reason. So are the rest of the reasons I'm about to read out to you. And being already divorced, it just shows you've already experienced it. You do not want to experience this again. And that is absolutely fine. There are some families who are like, oh, you've already been divorced, so don't even bother getting married again. And there are some people who are like, oh, you need a partner. It's like, you need a partner to survive. You just can't be on your own. I'm sorry, but nobody has a right to be telling other people that they should get married. Really, you do not have that right. Okay, let's go. Number 4. One of my favorite ones. It's just a piece of paper. It literally is just a piece of paper that looks like this, okay? It's nothing. It's literally a piece of paper. Now, there's more to life than a piece of paper that says you're married, and there are so many people who say it's just a piece of paper. Now, to me personally, no, it is not just a piece of paper, but that's my belief system. And I don't need anybody judging me. And I'm not here passing judgments to anybody who thinks that marriage is just a piece of paper. Because, I mean, in a literal aspect, it kind of is. So there you go. Just a piece of paper. And, you know, in some cultures, you don't even have that piece of paper. It's like a ceremony and then you're married and that's it. It's like in the Western societies that it's a official legal documentation. It's not everywhere that they even do things like that. So marriage is such a political, social, and religious economic construct. It has been created. Marriage between two people should only be between two people, but suddenly the whole universe is involved. God knows why. All right. Number five, they don't desire having children. And once again, not wanting to have children is okay. There are so many people out there who are like, so when are you having kids? I should be asking you, when are you shutting up? That's probably the better question to ask, don't you think? Now, not having kids is one reason, but sometimes people are scared to get with somebody because what if you tell them at the start, okay, I don't want children, and then you end up wanting children or they end up wanting children. You never know. You never know how it's going to happen and what's going to happen. And I think that's one of the things that scares people is that change of mind, because it happens. And I've witnessed it happen. And, you know, it can cause a lot of drama and you'd probably be thinking, well, I should have been single in the first place. Anybody can change their mind anytime about children. And I think that's quite a scary reason. And I think that not getting married because of that, to me, it makes a lot of sense. But also, like I said, choosing not to have kids, just like choosing not to get married, that is your prerogative. It is nobody else's business whether you want to have kids or not. You are not put into this world just to reproduce and procreate. That is not your only reason for existing in this universe, may I add. Hello, parents. Please take note of this. Please take note of this. Your children are not here to procreate all the time. Now, all right, I got a comment and I feel the need to put this up. All right. Hardeep says, I want to tell you a joke. Once I was in a marriage where all Indian aunties asked me, you are next, you are next. I told one of them, many people, that passing away, you are next. Oh, I shouldn't laugh. I've seen that joke before and I probably wouldn't talk about passing away, but I might be a bit sarcastic with something else. But yeah, I like that one. Good one. I like that. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Now, yes, I was still talking about no desire for children. Now, as I said, it's scary. People can change their minds and there's nothing wrong with that. So you don't want kids? Don't have kids. There's more to life than children, let me tell you. Now, number 6. This is my favorite one. One of my favorite one. The reason is that, you know, marriage, it takes up time emotionally, physically, spiritually. In every way possible, marriage takes up your time. And some people would rather focus on their work. And for some people, their career is everything to them. Just a friendly reminder that family is not everything. You don't need to make family your world. You don't need to make having children and getting married your entire existence, the bane of your existence, because that is not necessary. You know, some of us are career focused and we want to make money. We want to do things for ourselves. And marriage is not on the list. And I don't think that shaming people, especially women who choose to be career oriented, I don't think that's right. Because for you to shame somebody to say, oh, you know, you only care about your career, you don't care about anything else. That's like saying that they don't have the right to go out and work and make money. If that's what you think, if you think that shaming them is the right thing to do. That's not cool. You know, for some people, their career is their everything. They have worked hard and they want to continue to work hard. And you don't need to continue to work hard in a marriage. You don't need to be married at all. People, aunties and uncles, please take note. You don't need to get married. I'm going to continue saying that throughout this whole episode. I just need to get it. You just need to get it through your head. Just saying. All right. Number 7, not wanting to run a household. Now, this is societal construct. It is automatically bestowed upon women that they are going to run a household. And no, this whole episode is not about women who choose not to get married. It's about men and women. But running a household, stereotypically enforced by society, unfortunately, means that the women are going to run a household, which means they have to give up their career. Or if they don't give up their career, it means that they go to work, slave away, come home, and they're still running a household. Why not just cut the crap and just not get married? Then you don't need to do nothing. Look after yourself. You don't need to start looking after other people. Simple. Some people don't want to run an extra household, and they should not have to. All right. Number 8. People prefer non-monogamy. So, once again, societal construct. A relationship is defined as being between two people. And, there's a rise in accepting the practice of, non-monogamy. So, 3 people relationships, 4 people relationships. Now, you don't have to agree or disagree or even have any opinions on this, but whatever it is, it's none of your concern. If 3 people want to be together in one household, in one bed, that's their prerogative. And because the institution of marriage does not allow more than 2 people to get married, people remain single. Because it's fairer that way, isn't it? If you're in a relationship that consists of more than 2 people. So there's number 8 for you. Now, number 9, sexual orientation. Now, sometimes people choose not to get married because of their sexual orientation, because their family don't know, society doesn't know. It could be the country they're in. In the country, it's not allowed to be whichever orientation that you choose to be apart from heterosexual. And they don't allow same-sex marriages, so they need to keep it undercover, because how are they supposed to get married? So a person's sexual orientation sometimes prohibits them from getting married or wanting to get married because they're just happy with the way that their current relationship is going. And what a person does behind closed doors should not be of anyone's concern. I'm just putting it out there. Now, here's one that affects the aunties and uncles sometimes. Number 10, you're living together already, but you don't want to marry. And as I said before, these couples, they don't have the desire to get married. It's just a piece of paper. Or they're not ready for that commitment. Or they're just not wanting to get married at all. They're just happy being not married. And it really sucks because there are so many societies who look down on couples that live together and don't marry. Why? Because, and you've heard me say this 100,000 times before, what are people going to say? What are people going to say if you are living together and you're not married? And it's hysterical because it's almost like saying that 2 people can only have sex and only live together like a couple if they have that piece of paper. You need this. You need a piece of paper to tell you that you can do these things. Are you serious? It's like you need the approval of people who don't matter, who are not even part of your marriage and your relationship. Like, I'm sorry, but parents, you are not part of your child's relationship, nor are the aunties and uncles. So, looking down on people who live together who aren't married, it's like, it's pretty much being like, you need to get that piece of paper so that other people who don't marry, people who don't matter, they won't judge you. And for that reason, get the piece of paper. That's a bit stupid, I think. Just a little bit. Not understanding this lokya kehenge mentality. Oh, by the way, for my non-Indian people, lokya kehenge means, what are people going to say? And I reference this saying, I don't know how many times in a day. I just have this urge to do it because a lot of people care way too much about what other people think. And if you live your life that way, you haven't lived a very fulfilling life, let me tell you. Now, number 11. All of these reasons are making me laugh. Maybe it's just me because I'm a bit sarcastic in the head sometimes. Marriage does not fix anything. It doesn't give you quick happiness. It doesn't fix your mental health. It probably makes it worse. It doesn't fix any of your emotional issues. It doesn't help you go to university. It doesn't help you further your studies. And if my common sense serves me justly, marriage probably causes more problems than it fixes. That, I'm not saying don't get married, and I'm not saying that everybody's marriage is gonna cause a headache and a problem. No. But I mean, 1 in 3 marriages end in a divorce. So you can do the rest of that math, because I'm not very good at mathematicking. But there you go. Marriage does not fix everything. And you know, there's so many aunties and uncles who, I keep referring to aunties and uncles, I'm talking to parents here too, who are like, oh, if you get married, your depression's gonna go away. You're suddenly gonna be happy. And marriage is not that quick. It's not a quick fix. If you don't actually deal with whatever problems it is that you're going through, which is perfectly normal and okay to go through, you're not gonna have a healthy relationship. Your relationship's gonna end faster than ever. Or you're gonna have problems that could have been avoided in the first place had you had sought help. Real talk. Now, next one. Here's my next one. Preference for no strings attached or casual relationships. Let that one sink in while I drink some water. Now, I think this is a good one, because if you have no expectations, you have no disappointments. And look, of course you need to be mindful if you are in a no strings attached casual relationship to, you know, let the person know for however long or short the duration of this attachment is, that this is going to be casual. But because catching feelings is real, you know. But there's nothing wrong with no strings attached and casual relationships, you know, each to their own. And none of you should be judging who does that. Like, it's none of your concern if somebody wants a no strings attached relationship or a casual relationship. It's not your judgment call. And I mean, hey, no strings attached and casual relationships, they are so much more easier to deal with than a marriage. I mean, seriously. I personally probably wouldn't do that, but hey, I know so many people who do that, and that's what keeps them going. And they don't feel the need to get married. They have their fun, and not everybody needs to settle down, as some parents would say. I don't understand why people say like settling down, like you are starting something massive by getting married. I'm not sure how that's settling down, but anyways, we'll call it that. We'll call it that for sure. Now, my next one is fear of divorce. Now, everybody knows how messy a divorce can get. I mean, if things don't work out, and as I said, 1 in 3 marriages end in divorce, that goes to show how many people suffer mentally, physically, financially after a marriage ends. It leaves you with scars. And you know, the fear is real. And you should have that fear, because you can't expect that your marriage is going to last forever. You can hope. We all hope. But, you know, you can't expect that it's going to last forever. And parents, I am looking at you here, because you should not be expecting your children to stay in marriages that don't work. And I find that there are so many Indian parents who do that. They just expect to just tolerate the crap that doesn't work, to just fix the problem. Like, you know, make a laddu and everything's going to be fine. No, man, it doesn't work like that. You shouldn't be forced to stay in marriages like these. And this is the reason why, when you expect your child to stay in an unhealthy marriage, this leads to so many mental health issues. Come on. And that scars you. And once you leave that marriage, you ain't ever getting into a relationship again, because of the fear, because of the experience. Parents should be supporting their children in a marriage and outside of a marriage, but no forcing of staying in a marriage. So the fear of divorce is real, because so many of your things can be taken. The law gets involved. It's insane. And by the time you're done getting a divorce, you probably are wishing that you were single to begin with and had never gotten married. So there you go. Number 14, education. Now, See, you Indian people are so funny sometimes. I gotta say, like, you force your children to study something, and if they don't want to study, you force them to marry. Are you serious? Like, is that all you think life is? Just education and marriage? Oh, and grandkids? Like, because I'm here to tell you, sorry to burst your bubble, but that's not how it works. Some people choose not to get married because they really want to focus on their education. They have aspirations, not forced on them by their parents, but things that they have desire to do themselves. And being in a relationship is so difficult. And if you're not in a healthy relationship, that can affect your work and your study. That can affect your mark you're going to get. So putting education before marriage is 99.99% the smartest thing that you could do, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm not married. I've got my degree, but I don't know how things would have happened if I was like married and studying. Like, I don't know what I'd be focusing on for sure. Just putting that out there. But yeah, as I said, all jokes aside, a lot of people are under the pressure by their parents to finish their studies and then get married, which is why some people prolong studying. I know you do that. And that's okay. I understand. If I had that pressure from my parent, my mama would have done the same thing. But like, people have the choice to make their own decisions on, you know, what they want to study, how long they want to study for, and whether they want to get married or not. And sometimes it's sad that some people feel the need to, and this happens, they feel the need to actually go and purposely study just so people will get off their back about marriage. Yeah, insanity, absolute insanity. Now, number 15, cheating. This is a no-brainer. People have been cheated on in the past really badly, and they don't want to get married because of it. Simple analogy. I don't even need to elaborate on that. But, you know, once you've been cheated on, your trust issues go down the toilet, people. That is it. You don't want to get married after that. Some people take the leap of faith and do it. I'm not saying that everybody who's been cheated on won't get in another relationship or get married, but it's a fear. It is real. It is valid. And if that's your reason for not wanting to get married, that is okay. And people around you need to respect that. They really do. Now, number 16, preference to travel on your own. Imagine all the money you can spend on yourself. Think about it. You can do whatever you want. Go wherever you want. Travel to any country without somebody with you, without having to worry about somebody else. The freedom, the autonomy, the freedom to live wherever you want to live. I mean, look, personally, I'd probably want to travel with a partner, but that's just me. But there are so many people who want to travel on their own and live abroad and do so many things. And that is one of the reasons, one of my 24 reasons why a person chooses to be single, because there are so many experiences to be had, and there are people who want to do it with somebody, and there are people who want to be on their own. Either way, it is okay. And it needs to be understood that you don't have to do things with other people to have fun. You can have fun on your own. You can. So, something for you to learn. All right. Now, number 17 is once again, a no-brainer. Finances. I mean, it is simpler, cheaper, financially safer to be on your own than to be in a relationship with somebody. Is it not? Unless if you're in the relationship for, you know, selfish reasons, then yeah, that's not on. You steal from life, life steals from you. So finances are a huge thing. And I think I've come across a lot of people who are really scared to get married, especially the people who are, you know, quite wealthy. You work so hard for things, you don't want to lose them. That leads me to number 18. Number 18 is the risk of losing assets. So number 17 was finances in general. It's just so much simpler. But number 18, the risk of losing assets. And once again, depending on your financial situation, you know, asking somebody to sign a financially binding agreement, it insinuates a lack of trust. And I think that sometimes that can be the start of your problems with your partner, to, you know, because they'd turn around and be like, oh my God, you think I'm going to take from you? You think I'm going to steal from you? And it's just like, no, you need to protect what's yours. You have every right to protect what's yours. Now, the risk is real. You get married depending on where you are, break up, the other party is entitled to X amount of things, and you're gonna be sitting there wishing that you hadn't gotten married in the first place. And how often have you heard your family or your friends talk about that it was a expensive divorce, a nasty divorce, and you lost so many of your things, or your house, you had to sell your house. That stuff is crazy. Imagine working so hard for something and you lose it. And it's a very real and legitimate reason for not getting married. And I 100% support that. Now, number 19, you have your own struggles, whatever that may be, mental health issues. And the chances are that the parents who are trying to force their sons or daughters into marriage probably don't know that their sons and daughters have mental health issues, because, hello, mental health sometimes seems to not exist in Indian culture, and apparently marriage fixes it. I mean, seriously, surely I'm not the only person who has heard people say that. Like, I'll get married, you'll be like, everything's going to be fine. Get married, they said. Everything's going to be fine, they said. No. Guys, if I have missed out anything, if there's any reason why you either A, regret being married, but you're probably not going to say this while I'm live, or B, are happy being single, let me know. Like, this is my compilation of reasons as to why people choose not to get married. And I know it's not a comprehensive list, but I think I've added quite a few reasons that some of you people can relate to. So if there's anything I have missed out, I haven't said yet, comment it to me, because I want to know your reasons if you have chosen to stay single, or if you wish you were single. Now, number 20 is abuse and trust issues. You know, it could be abuse or a trust issue, something that I haven't mentioned already, or you have trust issues for various reasons, you know, and you're scared about somebody living with you. And it's real, especially if you've been through abuse and trust issues in a previous relationship. Or it could be a fear that none of us know, that I haven't mentioned, maybe I haven't thought of. But people, if somebody doesn't want to discuss what their fear is, they don't need to. And so many times people classify a fear as an irrational fear. Be it so. Maybe to you it's irrational. Maybe somebody's fear for for not getting married is irrational to you. But to them it's legitimate. It's not about what you think. Just because you don't understand something does not mean that it is invalid or not real. We all have so many different fears. You know, fear of abandonment. I gotta say, I do want to get married, but on a personal level, my fear is of being abandoned. And I'm sure I'm not the only person who feels like that. You know, being left. I don't want that to happen to me, you know. Excuse me, talking a lot makes me very thirsty. So yes, it's fear in general, things that we probably don't know. And if somebody doesn't want to share it, it's not exactly our place to ask. Now, number 21, witnessing bad relationships. Now, how many of us have witnessed bad relationships? Friends, families, news, TV shows, even though they're not entirely real, but I think they're sort of depictions anyway. And, you know, it may not even be abuse. I'm not talking, you know, hitting and swearing. You know, it could be somebody who suffered financially. It could be being abused by in-laws. You know, so many people, they see so many bad relationships, and it could be anything, right? But a lot of these relationships, these bad relationships, are, surprise, surprise, your own parents. You see your own parents in bad relationships, and, you know, some of you parents are in really shit relationships yourselves, and you're trying to get your sons and daughters married off, and they can see past everything that is going on. And that is the reason, one of the reasons why they don't want to get married. Because they can see how many problems and dramas your own relationship has. You've probably scarred them and scared them from getting married. And that's probably one of the reasons why they don't want to get married, but they're probably not able to tell you that either. So I think it makes them feel like it is safer to be on your own than to live through what they lived through watching your bad relationships. Now, number 22, being sexually assaulted by anyone. Could be a family member, could be a stranger, it could be an ex-partner, whoever. You know, once you have been assaulted sexually, you are scarred for life. And you are left with this fear of being intimate, of having somebody see your body, of kissing, of touching, of, you're turned off by that thought of having anybody near you because, that's what sexual assault does to you. You have flashbacks. You could be intimate with your partner and then have a flashback. And all these things, they are so scary. And there is so much fear that you almost feel like being by yourself would be a better option than to be with somebody else. Or sometimes you get scared that you're going to, put your problems onto your partner. And you think, oh, I'd rather be on my own than to explain to them how I feel or, be in a relationship, because sexual trauma is, once you've lived it, your whole life changes. You know what I mean? And yes, it affects relationships. It affects the way you see yourself, the way you see others, and the way you see the world around you. So sometimes that's a reason why people don't want to get married. And it's also something that people are probably not going to open up and talk to you about. So as I said, respecting a person's reason for not being married is the way to go. Now, number 23, fear in general. So this is fear of, fear of falling out of love. What if we get married and later on I fall out of love? Fear of commitment, committing now and then feeling as though it's too much and not being able to commit later on. Fear of having in-laws interfering. We know what that feels like. Fear that a person is going to change after marriage. How many people have witnessed people changing after marriage? What they once were, and then everything's just gone to ashes after marriage. These fears are real because it happens. Or it's been witnessed. Or you've seen, you see it on TV, you see it around you. So that fear, there's so many different types of fear. As I said, the fears are, unlimited. Any type of fear. And just got a comment from Chris saying, is this going from? I'm not sure what you mean, but you can comment again and let me know what that meant. Harish Karan says, when are you getting married, by the way? I don't know. I guess I have to find the right person without interference, of course. Chris says, is the fear of commitment going from bad to worse from generation to generation? That's a very good question. I think it is, sort of. I don't think it's necessarily bad. I think people are questioning a lot nowadays, questioning their surroundings, questioning their families. There's a lot more of a generational cycle being broken, especially by my generation and the generation after me. But I think fear of commitment is there because in our culture, especially, I think there's a lot of interference from in-laws and parents and things like that. And I think that gets in the way of commitment. But that's just my 2 cents. I could be wrong here. But I think I have another thought just like came into my brain. I think that the generations before us, maybe even our grandparents' time, I think they didn't exactly have a choice, or they couldn't really question their commitment. I think they were told, this is the person you're going to get married to and you are with them for life. And now with my generation, yes, there are arranged marriages happening, and yes, parents are still trying to force their children, but I think we are still able to have our own say. Maybe not everybody in my generation, but quite a few of us are able to have our own say. And but the fear of commitment is still there. I mean, I think anybody would fear committing because you feel like you're stuck. But that's the thing. Another thought just came to my brain. Good questions, Chris. Another thought just came to my brain is that I think that people feel like they are stuck as soon as they get married and that they can't get out. You know, back in the days, you probably, divorce was frowned upon and now it's not. So even then, I think that people feel like they are stuck in relationships, and you can always leave a marriage if it is unhealthy. You should not be forced into staying there. Chris has also asked, what are your thoughts on an open marriage, polyamorous relationships? That is not something that I would personally do. However, it is not my place to judge what others do, who they love, how that situation works. You know, if I don't have any friends who are in, you know, open marriages and things like that. But if I did have friends, I think I'd be very curious just to know how it works. But personally, I can be possessive, not in a psycho way, but, you know, I feel like if it's my partner, that's my partner. I wouldn't want to share him with anybody. But that's how I feel about it. Some people are okay with it, and that's perfectly fine. I'm not here to pass judgment. You know, it's your life behind closed doors. I sleep at night no matter what. So behind closed doors, it doesn't matter to me what they do. My last but not least is visa. Now, some sons and daughters don't want to marry because there are parents who are trying to force them to marry someone from overseas, or to marry someone and take them with you. You know, for example, you know, marry, like, the daughter or the son is overseas and their kids are like, oh, marry this person from this country. And, you know, it ends up being like it's for visa. Like, why would you waste your time, your money, your energy on marrying somebody for visa? Especially when the parents make it very obvious, like, oh, this person really wants to go to this country, marry them so they can come there. Like, oh my God. I just don't understand why you would do that, or why you would even request, like, why you would even suggest that to your children to do. And it's so funny, like, I'm on quite a few forums, and there have been people who have spoken about, oh, you know, my dad wants me to marry this person because they want me to take them with me to another country. And I'm sorry, but that is really irresponsible. That is so irresponsible. Like, marriage is not a business. It's not the bloody stock exchange here. Like, oh, the fucking husband and the wife exchange. Let's take them to another country. No, man. It's not a game. Marriage is not a game, and you shouldn't be treating it like that. And I feel like there are too many people who do that, and there are too many parents who are interfering and telling their children to get married. If there is anything I want you to take away from this, and I'm talking to you parents and aunties and uncles and older relatives right now, stop enforcing this crap on your kids. And I'm not even talking about visa right now. I'm talking about, like, enforcing your religious or societal beliefs on your children. I have another question from Chris. Let's hear it. Do the presence of numerous dating apps affect the institution of marriage? Have dating apps made it easier to walk out of a marriage? Oh, that's a very good question. Now, I've been on many dating apps, and I don't think it affects the institution of marriage when you're trying to look for somebody. But yes, these apps have made it very easy to cheat. It has made it very easy to create multiple profiles and have fun on the side, to sext. Yes. So I do think that dating apps have made it very easy to cheat, even if it's not physically. You know, you can still cheat by exchanging pictures, and I don't think that's right. On the contrary, on the dating apps that I have been on, I have met some really cool people, some people that I'm just friends with, and you know, I've had some pretty cool experiences. So, you know, it's a bit of both for me there. But yes, in response to your question, absolutely, I do think that it can affect the institution of marriage. Just the internet has just made it very easy to do a lot of things, and cheating and playing up is a very easy thing now, you know. Just delete the app and problem solved. Your husband, wife, they're never going to find out that you were even on the app. Unless you've screenshots. Then you're screwed. Now, so there you have it. You've got my 24 reasons why people choose not to get married. Like I said, I'm sure that I have not included everything here. Now, guys, I am on Facebook, Conversations with Shalina. I don't know where you're watching me from right now, on my Facebook, my personal page or my Facebook page, but click like if you're there. You can follow me on YouTube, Sedate the Poet. I've got my music and my live streams there as well. And I've got a new song coming out soon as well. Or Instagram. So I am never hard to find. I always say that, but that's the truth. If you want to be a guest, email me. Send me an email with all your details. And hold on, I need some water, people. Got to stay hydrated. Now, whatever the reason is that a person chooses not to get married, and there are countless reasons, you have no right to judge a person for not getting married. It's not your call. It's none of your business. The question of when will you get married, it shouldn't be asked. It's rude. It is so rude. It is so unnecessary. And I feel like people, you don't have the place to ask that question. It should not concern you. I'm not sure why, that question, when will you marry? And also, so when are you having kids? Oh my God, those two questions, phew, God, they make me so mad. Now, some people have some really, really personal reasons as to why they don't want to get married. And, as I said, just because you can't understand it, it doesn't mean that they are not valid reasons. And to anybody who's been watching tonight, if anything that I say has resonated with you, just know that I'm with you. I support you 100%. And reach out to me if you want to, talk about anything, really. Now, Chris has asked another question. Let's do it. Can someone not decide to get married so that they are not forced to reproduce in a world that's vanishing? Can someone not decide to get married so that they are not forced? I'm gonna answer it in the way that I understand this question. Are you asking me if can or should a person choose not to get married so that they are not forced to have children? I think that that's a perfectly okay reason to not get married, that fear of being forced into having kids, because a lot of times people are forced into having children. As soon as they get married, the next question is the whole when are you having kids thing. So as soon as you stop getting married or choose not to get married, nobody's going to say anything. You know why? Because people seem to look down on single parents. That is why so many people look down on single parents, and I think that's so sad. If a person chooses to be a single parent, that's their prerogative. But I think a person has a million reasons not to get married, and I think that each and every one of them are legitimate reasons. I don't think that we should be judging people's reasons for not getting married. I don't think it's our call. I think it's not the right thing to do to be so judgmental. I'm trying to be supportive of people's decisions. And I think that's what we need to do as a society, is not be judging people for making decisions that don't sit right with us. I mean, just because I want to get married doesn't mean somebody else needs to. It's none of my bloody business. So, like I said, if anybody's going through this right now, or you just want to have a chat, or if anything I said, resonates with you and you feel like reaching out, like I said, I'm never hard to find. So with that, I will see you in the next episode. And thank you so much for joining me tonight and watching me rant away. I just feel like this is something that needed to be said. And I appreciate you. So I'll see you next time.